Good Friday to you guys. It is Friday, April 10th, 2020. Get ready. 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, what's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report, and I have a ton of calls to get to, and I have a ton of stories or comments to get to as well. And I'm trying to get Jesse Lee Peterson on D Live to host me, but D Live won't let it happen. Jesse's trying. Aha. Here we go. Report. Come on up. Oh, well. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, do it from my computer, Nick. You have to pull it up. I'm logged into Jesse Lee Peterson's D Live on my Safari on my computer. Nice. And go to dashboard or video thing, hosting and rerun, and then just search for the Hake Report. It's not coming up. The Hake Report. Maybe I'm okay with, I don't know, whatever. So, I am streaming on D Live, am I right? I am? Looks like it. Oh, sending data. Something's going on. I'm not streaming on D Live, it looks like. Am I? Hold on. I have people coming. Can you guys hear me on D Live? Whatever. Okay. Yeah, it says the streamer's offline. Interesting. Well, I am on YouTube. I am on Mixer. I am on Facebook and Periscope. And sending data to Twitch and D Live. Probably, most likely, I'm logged into my restream on Chrome. Got to reconnect. Yeah, you could turn it off and turn it on again. Those two things. Okay, so, guys, let me just turn that off. Get ready, because this is a show. It is Good Friday, and you know what that means? That means that it's the day that, it's commemorating the day that Jesus Christ, he died. And it was meant to happen, right? The never Trumpers killed Christ. That's my joke. I told you guys I had a joke. That was my joke. Hope it was funny. But their ilk did vote to have Jesus crucified. And then they said, give us Barabbas. Give us Barabbas. What's up, D Live? I think I'm streaming. Sorry, D Live. You guys missed the whole beginning of the show. It's because something wasn't working. But it's fixed. Thank you to Nick for making it happen. And now I can get Jesse to host me as well. But I was just telling the people, D Live, in case you missed it, that it's Good Friday, which is the Friday before Easter, and it's commemorating the day that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, right? Something like that. And the Never Trumpers killed Christ. They didn't kill him, but they voted for him to be crucified. They're like, crucify him, crucify him. And Pontius Pilate said, I'm washing my hands of this one. And then they said, give us Barabbas, because there was this zealot, a nationalist, who wanted to break away from the Roman Empire or whatever. And he wanted to be independent. And he had committed murder named Barabbas. They said, because Pontius Pilate's like, I can give you guys, it's Passover for you guys. Let me give you one person up who's been captured. And they said, give us Barabbas, the murderer. Yeah, thank you, Nick. JLP is currently hosting the Hake Report on his channel too, in addition to me hosting it on my own channel. But they liked the murderer instead of Jesus. But consider this, Jesus was supposed to die, right? Wasn't he supposed to die? The sacrificial lamb. So what's the problem? Because some people are resentful when they say the Never-Trumpers killed Jesus. They meant it for evil, but God turned it around for good. So, and Jesus himself said when he was on the cross, reportedly, right, according to what the Bible says, forgive them for they know not what they do. But we don't want to forgive them. We think we're better than Jesus. What a shame. Are you following me? I remember, the joke is it was the Never-Trumpers. But I remember reading about this basketball player when I was a kid. And it was one of the first times that I had been exposed to this. This basketball player, black guy, complained that the Jews killed Jesus. I'm like, what's your problem? Jesus was supposed to die. So, whatever. Evil has its role, and the good people are supposed to have their role, but the good is resenting the evil. And they're evil themselves. The good is turning evil themselves, so-called good. When I was a kid, moving on, when I was a kid, I remember it was called Easter vacation. You ever heard of Easter vacation? See? That's the difference 10 years makes. I'm just about 10 years older than Joel in physical age, right? Maybe not mentally, maybe not, maybe not maturity, but 10 years later, they had successfully converted it from Easter vacation to spring break. They changed it to spring break. And what are the images that come to your mind when you think of spring break, thanks to Fox News, which covers these stories? Degeneracy. These college, and you call them kids, but they're not kids. These grown adult college people of limited levels of maturity, but physically they're mature. Partying, having sex, being degenerate, going to the beach, traveling to places. And what? Spreading coronavirus. Just want to get drunk. Dumb white valley girls and blacks and everybody. So it's a degenerate think of it. It went from Easter vacation to spring break. And notice, spring break occurred, I think, around St. Patrick's Day, which is another Saint Patrick, right? Saint, he was a Christian, right? But what do they do on St. Patrick's Day? They go get drunk. Typical Irish, right? But I'm half kidding. But spring break used to be Christian, and now they purposely, in my opinion, I suspect, right? This is my conspiracy theory, that the powers that be, the secularist government and academia and all them, the haters of Christians, changed the vacation time, the 1 week off that you get during the springtime, or right before spring, to not fall around Easter. They want to get it as far away from Christianity and Christians as possible. And now it's totally degenerate. It's not a time of refreshing and renewal. It's a time of getting drunk and having sex and smoking pot and who knows what else. Getting into trouble. So that's evil. Thank you. So that's just more proof that we were a Christian nation, and they're pulling us away from that. They've been hammering and hammering at that. And isn't it interesting that whites, I've noticed this, I don't know if you have, but some of you have, including some callers of mine themselves, are turning to atheism and paganism. Just kind of like how the blacks are turning to their African things. And the Mexicans with their turning into their, weird idols. I got a text from Maria, my friend. Oh, Maria, to answer your question, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. It's a question about Facebook and privacy, and you may be able to change your settings, but I would have to see it myself. So, I don't know. Find somebody young who can handle it, and let me know if you're able to do that, and then that. A lot of people have problems, especially older people, People who are not young and smart, grew up with this stuff, don't know how to protect their privacy online, not have their real names go out there and things like that. That's just a side note. But Maria texted me, all cultures have their false gods. And that's true. But whites are getting that more and more. And it's because, I think, other whites, including their parents, their pastors, and other whites around them, have this, what Richard Spencer called cucked Christianity. And Spencer is a cultural Christian, right? I'm referring to him because he used that term when he interviewed me this past Sunday. You can check it out. I shared it on my blog posts. So if you scroll down few posts, you'll find it. Or maybe I'll put it on I'll create a playlist of my outside appearances. I was on the Ralph Retort. I wonder if that one is on YouTube. But some of them some of them are Jew blamers, right? Some of the people who've turned away from Christianity, some of the people who are still into the Christianity are Jew blamers, and they point out that turn the other cheek. They say turn the other cheek, goy. They say turn your other cheek was a false teaching. Well, it's been twisted into a false teaching for sure. And that's this false niceness. Some of them think that Christianity is a Jewish conspiracy. In a sense, it is. The weakness of Christians is encouraged by fellow evil, nice, mama spirit type people, which includes them, and it includes, there's a whole bunch of Mexican Christians, POC type Christians, and white Christians that have this fake niceness going on, with notable exceptions. I am scheming, and then I will get to calls. I am scheming to host an interesting, I think it'll be interesting, discussion/debate with this Gen X guy, atheist, nationalist, socialist, versus a boomer, constitutional, conservative, still nationalist, anti-socialist guy. And I think that it could be a very pro-Christian guy, pastor actually, versus an atheist, nationalist, socialist guy. And that guy is pro into the white thing majorly. The other guy acknowledges the whites, but he's about what's right. So I just think that would be such an interesting debate. I kind of want 2 hours because these guys are long-winded. I'm hesitant to mention their names because I haven't talked to either of them about it yet. Is that a good reason not to say their names? Some of you are familiar with both of these. Some of you are familiar with just one. That's a good reason not to say their names. Okay. Bernie Core 2024 says hot computer smell, or Bernie Corpse 2024. I think she meant I think she said Bernie Corpse actually. Yeah, I don't want to jinx this discussion that I want to host. And plus, boomer tech, right? We have to figure out, we have to get the boomer to be able to get on a video platform that would work with two guests. If not, I just have him on my phone and then Richard I have on Skype or something. But anyways, it should be fun. Oh, shoot. I just mentioned me and my big mouth. You guys didn't hear that. Joel's all, Lord have mercy. I want to get to some coronavirus news, but I do want to get to oh man, okay. Here's a good question. Let me get to Travis out of Florida. And then I have a ton of calls. Travis out of Florida, first time caller. Travis, how are you?
Hey guys.
Hey. Nice reference.
Yeah, so I've been following Jesse now, and I caught wind of you through him, obviously. And I like your straightforwardness as far as the political stuff and just delivering the information. with a little bit of opinions in there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know how do you differentiate like communist behavior and socialist and all that? I'm not really big on politics, so I
Yeah.
just want to hear from you.
Okay. How do I differentiate between communism and socialism specifically? Or just in general, how do I define those?
Well, just the characteristics, like when you go and you're doing your research, you read these articles or you hear what people are saying.
Yeah.
How do you know or identify and just say, oh, that's communist, that's socialist kind of rhetoric, you know?
Yeah. I remember reading a long time ago some document, and I don't remember even who it was from necessarily, or what it was called, but it pointed out different things about, and I've heard these principles too, like dividing the races, for example. Not dividing in terms of segregation, but dividing in terms of breeding suspicion in between the races, like stirring up,
like a psychological thing.
Yeah, like when the media highlights Trayvon Martin versus George Zimmerman, and tries to drum it up as, oh, this was a racial thing, or anytime a cop. I think of those as being communist tactics, because they're using the weakness and anger of blacks against the country and against basically normal-minded justice. Normal-minded justice being what's right and what's wrong, never mind the color.
Right.
But they want to have people thinking in terms of the race, and they won't even listen to actual justice at that point.
Right. That's just on the surface. Like, obviously you can tell this man is of color and this man isn't, and they try to make it about that.
Yeah, they try to act like they're mind readers. Like they try to figure out who was the bad guy in this situation and who was the innocent one, or more innocent one, who was the victim.
Yeah.
And so they promote victimhood.
When all that happened, I was like, what? Like, it was just going crazy. And then the way my dad would talk to me about it, or just when it was going on, I was living with him.
Yeah.
So he was just like acting all emotional, and I was like just really weirded out. And it was like Obama was president, all kinds of stuff was just like kind of pushing me to like dig deeper and kind of look at things a different way.
Yeah. Another thing that communism does, how old were you, by the way, at that point?
When that happened, I had to be like 16 or 17.
Okay. So you were around Trayvon Martin's age.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. Yeah, and kids, because they're not taught with all this knowledge, referencing this knowledge thing that Joel pointed out, that how during the Jesse Lee Peterson show, Jesse talked about having a can-do attitude and not giving up, and just always you're always able to work. And Joel has talked about how a lot of people learn stuff that's going on in the world, and it sets them up to believe a certain way, and then it holds them back. Yeah. Like, oh, I can't get a job because the illegal aliens are all here. Things like that. Or I can't, this case happened, and therefore it's racism. It's just another example of racism. So, yeah. Those are another thing that communism likes to do, is get rid of the morality and Christianity, the family, and they come up with false terms, like they come up with odd academic sounding terms like social justice or reproductive justice or environmental justice. They take, or diversity. That sounds like that word, if you're an innocent person or a naive, innocent, ignorant person, a child who's never, isn't familiar with the evil, that's going to sound like such a happy word, diversity, right? Doesn't it sound like a happy word? But then underneath it, it's really breeding resentment against everybody, against whites.
Right.
and it's an imitation. It's a false imitation of like the kingdom of God, because in the kingdom of God, that stuff, when all
Doesn't
is
matter.
said and done, it doesn't matter, right? But
Yeah.
they want to skip over the God part and just have their own kingdom where they have this diversity and everybody, because everybody kind of gets along. They want to be nice, and so this this mama pressure to be nice to people
Hmm.
is what runs most liberals and most conservatives, honestly. We have a
Hmm.
niceness when we don't have like real love, where we can be honest with each other. And this honesty that sounds so harsh, and so it sounds like
Hmm.
hate to the people who are actually full of hate.
Right.
And so I use socialism and communism almost interchangeably, because
Okay.
I kind of listen to the older people who seem to know what's going on. There's this guy
Hmm.
Bill Lockwood who says that communism is the same thing as socialism, but it's socialism at the end of a gun, meaning socialism at
By
gunpoint.
force.
So it's by
Right.
much more force. And when push comes to shove, that's what socialism is too. If you try to buck
Right.
the system too much, they're gonna get you.
Hmm.
So I feel honestly that that's what we're seeing with these Democrats and some others, um, trying to enforce these quarantine measures in these different cities, getting mad at so-called non-essential businesses that are remaining open, getting
Hmm.
mad at people who are out canoeing or kayaking on the water, violating you're supposed to stay at home. But what harm are they actually doing? Like if they're taking measures to protect themselves and others, then why can't they just stay open and keep on doing their thing? So it's a control freakish type of. It's like the female-minded, emotional, like emotional false compassion for
Right.
people. That
Well, the
leads.
word that comes to mind is apprehension,
Yeah,
being like
fearful, huh?
so trying to be so forward thinking that you think that you're helping so much when it's like you're really just being a dictator in a way.
Yeah, and that's what the mothers often do. They're more meddling. They meddle in
Yeah.
your life, whereas a father tends to be more hands off, let you do your thing, let you
Hmm.
fall, let you suffer, rather than bail you out all the time and spoil you. So you're right.
Yeah.
That's all I mean. I'm kind of simple minded, and that's why even though I am kind of intellectual, uh, I try not to do it too much, but I am.
Hmm.
But that's why I like people like Jesse Lee Peterson or Donald Trump, who cut through all that intellectual stuff, like
Hmm.
dealing with all the exceptions and being precise and exact with how their language is. They just get the basic point across. And if you get distracted by piddly details, then that's on you.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, does that make
Aren't
sense?
you a millennial?
Yeah,
Yeah, it does make sense.
cool. Yeah, I am. I'm a millennial. I'm an older side of millennial. I'm
Yeah, I
almost Gen
figured.
X.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm closer to the Z end.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 25.
Okay. Yeah, that's right on the cusp, I think, between Gen Z and millennial.
Yep.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
it's good to hear from
I'm
you.
just waking up to these kind of things, and I find it just helpful to hear different perspectives. I try
Yeah.
not to be too judgmental and stuff because like I figure like people are overcoming at the rate that God would have them. So there's no use in like judging someone else when I'm overcoming things myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
better
makes
just
sense.
ask questions, start conversation.
Yeah, for sure. How'd you find the show?
Well, Jesse's show, I found it through watching the Savage Moments about a year ago,
Nice.
and
Get a
then
job.
I would hear your commentary a lot from then tuning into the radio station, and I think I was watching the Fallen State a lot too
Okay.
before the radio show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how. about a year ago.
Right on, Travis. You a Christian?
I didn't grow up Christian,
Okay.
and that's something that I'm learning as well through Jesse
Yeah.
and coming to and just realizing I did forgive my parents,
Nice.
and just every day I'm just like contemplating more of like and silent prayer, growing into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just learning more, not so much about religion, but just God.
Yeah. True. Nice,
Yeah.
man. It seems like you're on the right track. You working?
Yeah. Well, not right now, given the circumstances, but
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I do have a job.
Yeah. Cool, man. Going to school, or did you go to college at all?
I did. I got an associate's degree,
Okay.
liberal arts,
Yeah.
and then I didn't find out what liberal meant until later.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand the liberal arts part. I don't know why they call
Yeah.
it that. But
They should just call it like general studies. I
right.
think that's like interchangeable. It's
Yep.
the same thing. It just pretty much doesn't mean anything. Like I have it on my resume. It
Yeah.
hasn't really gotten me anywhere.
I know. Yeah, I have my two associates and a bachelor's, and I haven't needed them once. But
Yeah.
whatever. You can't turn it back, so whatever.
Yeah. Just gotta keep moving.
Yep. Nice to hear from you, Travis. Happy Easter to
Awesome.
you.
Happy Easter. Yeah. Awesome.
All
Talk to
right.
you soon.
Take care. That was nice. Beard the Butcher gave a diamond and said, "The synagogue of Satan murdered Jesus Christ." You know, I'm like, I thought the Romans did it. I mean, but it was at the, they were scheming to make it happen, the synagogue of Satan. Let's see. Oh, let me read a few super chats and then get back to calls. Actually, I have another story I want to touch on too briefly. Lin Yun Chin says, "It's so wonderful to see Joel Friday mature into the seat of mastery over emotions and thoughts. His character is sparkling like a jewel of possibility. Merry Christmas, Joel." Nice. Appreciate that, Lin Yun Chin. Tabor J. Eaton, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, says, "Earl was hilarious today." Yeah, he was, but he was very short-lived. And Joel says, "A stretch, but appreciated." Malkuth X says, Hake, sing more Bone Thugs and tell less corny jokes." I don't know. I thought that wasn't that corny. But who am I to say what's not corny, right? Jib Jab says, "Today's Christians would have put a cap in Jesus." Yeah. And he puts Christians in quotation marks, right? Of course. And Malkuth X says, "Hake, do you know cucked is a pornography term?" Yeah, I do. I don't like to say it, but I do like to say it because it's more than just that, because it actually originated from the cuckatoo or something like that. The bird cuck. A bird lays his eggs in another bird's nest, and that other bird raises the other's kids, as in baby birds, right? Has to take care of somebody else's kids. And that's what so I don't mean it in a pornography thing. I know it does sound a little dirty. But yeah, it is. I'm sorry. But it's also referring to the people who give away the country, people who surrender what's right for what's nice. And who want to take care of the so-called immigrants and abandon the citizens, the people. Abandon what's right. So that's what I mean by it. All right? So don't be thinking something else. Well, you can't help it, right? Dirty mind. Let's see. Before I get to my favorite caller and some others, I just want to show you, I have pictures of the blacks who were crying along with the Associated Press. These are black pictures, Joel, the only blacks. There's one of them. She's black. She is Courtney Cogburn. Both of the black women are the same woman from Columbia University. I was telling you guys during Hake News yesterday, actually, about, and I didn't know that this Courtney Cogburn girl was black. It didn't even enter my mind. But she was joining in on these blacks who are suffering from systemic so-called racism, according to AP, which is fake news. And that's why they're dying disproportionately, twice per their share of the population who's been studied, from this coronavirus thing. They found a victimhood angle with this coronavirus finally, and now they're using it. And this is another example of that communism to Travis, that when you see an educator like that woman, a brainwashed person who's brainwashing more people. Courtney Cogburn. And do I have a picture of Derek Johnson? Derek Johnson, then NAACP, National Association Against Colored People, as Jesse Lee Peterson calls them. And I think that's an apt name. It's supposed to be for the advancement of colored people. But this guy is president and CEO, Derek Johnson of the NAACP. And I read about him on Hake News yesterday, quoted in this Associated Press article about so-called systemic racism and blacks dying disproportionately from the coronavirus thing, because in part because they have more overweight problems and diabetes and all these sicknesses that complicate things. So when you get a crazy disease, you die from it more likely. But they want to say, oh, victimhood. That's communism. I mean, it's just evil, right? We just break it down, good versus evil. So, and one more, just to be balanced, right? Because I like to be balanced. My calling, I don't know what my calling is, right? I told you about that lady who licked jewelry. Well, we showed you her picture at the very beginning. She's a white-ish looking lady or something. Hispanic almost looking. Maybe she's Greek. Her name was a white name. What was that name? I was telling you about her in Hake News today. It was at the end of the first hour. A woman arrested, according to CNN, after she licked $1,800 worth of merchandise at a California grocery store. Wow, jewelry at a grocery store near the Nevada border. An employee at Safeway Supermarket in South Lake Tahoe told officers that Jennifer Walker, age 53. She looks good for 53, huh? Maybe she is part black. But I'm kidding. If she looked at anything around me, I wouldn't touch it, says Joelle. Yeah. She put several pieces of jewelry from the store on her hands and licked them before loading up her shopping cart containing other store items. $1,800 worth of merchandise. This Jennifer Walker woman was booked at an El Dorado County jail on a charge of felony vandalism. The store deemed all the items in her cart unsellable due to cross-contamination, according to the employee. What a steal, huh? I would think that it would be sellable. You put it in hot enough water. This is something that I learned from my mother. Speaking of mothers, you put something in hot enough water and dish soap. You can do that to jewelry, can't you? And then it'll burn off.
You're about to make me cuss.
It'll burn off the germs and viruses. And guess what? Last month, another woman was arrested and charged after police said she purposely coughed on $35,000 worth of food. Wow. How do you cough on $35,000 worth of food at a Pennsylvania grocery store? But that's from CNN, so take it with a grain of salt. Nice. Dark Side of the Bear What says, congrats, Hake, 100 viewers just on D Live. Nice. Appreciate that. Hake News is best news, says Beard the Butcher. Thank you, man. So, let me get to Mike in Tennessee. Mike, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Going fine. Make sure you have the show turned down. But what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing my voice come back.
Okay, so yeah, just in reference to that debate you were talking about earlier.
Oh, the one that I want to set up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say you need a third seat in that debate, man.
A third? A third what?
Yeah, a third seat because they're both cringe.
They're both cringe. Yeah, it's funny.
I'll
be the third seat. You know what, Mike? I'm getting too much feedback. I'm gonna have Nick talk to you briefly, and then I'll get back to you. Hang tight, Mike. Nick, I think that he has the show going in the background, and he's calling my potential guests cringe. Boomer tech. No, I'm playing. Let me get back to him. Mike, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. So, all right. I appreciate the input. Thank you, man.
Yeah. But I did have an actual question though.
Okay.
So China, they're doing these experiments, and they made a human pig chimeric. You know what I'm talking about? Where they're trying to basically breed organs for like transplants and everything else. So they.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
They're using human beings for this type of stuff, huh?
Yeah. Well, monkeys.
Oh, they're using monkeys
to make like human.
Okay. I heard that they were doing it on the Uyghur Muslims that they were, supposedly incarcerating. But I could be wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you never know, I guess.
Yeah.
But what do you think about all that? I mean, so the whole premise is so that way they can, make basically just like farm organs for transplants, whatnot.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that from a just an overall ethical standpoint?
So having the pigs grow and maintain organs inside themselves, and then they transplant it to humans when they need them.
Right. Well, so what's going on? The reason why it's getting a lot of blowback is because I guess the last experiment they did, they implanted 10,000 embryos of the mixed monkey and pigs, and then out of those, 10 actually became pregnancies, and then out of those, only 2 were born, and then out of those 2 that were born, they both died within 4 days or something like that.
You're talking about piglets?
Yeah, the piglet monkey hybrids.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, super weird stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't give you an opinion on it. It definitely sounds weird. I don't know if it's wrong. It sounds like, if anything, it would be wrong, but I don't know that it's wrong. You know what I mean? Because I just don't know enough about it.
It's got good and bad to it, for sure. That's where, it's where the moral question comes into play, I guess.
I know that China is not particularly a moral country. They had for years they had a one-child policy, and then they changed it to two-child policy, and that's evil. And then they so often come here, and they seem like nice people, but most of them are Democrats, and they fall into this racism thing. They're politicians. The Asian politicians are some of the they're along with the worst people, Democrats. So,
right.
I have friends that are Chinese, and even them even if they have a common sense thing, because they're not into the politics that much, they still fall for that stuff. It's kind of like either they're educated and so that makes them socialist, or they're just don't care, and then they'll fall on the side of evil. So often. So
right.
I don't like them coming here, and I don't know what's going on over there. I don't even, there's so much posturing by our so-called leaders, representatives and people about, China's violating human rights and stuff. But meanwhile, we have abortion here. And then they're also they're posturing, they're making up lies to make China seem worse than it is. You don't have to make up stuff to make them seem worse. You can point out to things that you happen to know, and that's evil enough. But they talked about, you know, when the Hong Kong, was it Hong Kong or somewhere, I think in Hong Kong they were fighting for their independence, right?
Yeah, Hong Kong and Taiwan maybe.
Yeah, Taiwan for sure. They're further along, but there is propaganda on both sides, and I'm not a fan of the drama about it. There's a lot of drama and made up stuff. For example, when a cop shot a protester, right? That protester had just hit the cop. And you can question whether the cop needed to have that gun, whether they needed to be having this confrontation. But then in that situation, you can't fault the cop exactly, I don't think, for shooting the protester who it was really a rioter. And so I'm just leery of everything. They got to fight their own battle. I support the ones who are decent, but it's hard to know who's decent and who's not. It's hard enough to know the ones in America who are real. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pig monkeys. Didn't know about it. Thanks, man. Appreciate the call.
Up. Yeah, look it up. It's verified stuff. But can I say one more thing about the about that debate? Why? Because I think it's going to be a failure, man. You got the two sides. You got the
all right. Here, real quick. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, you got the absolute cringe, boomer constitutionalists, whatever. If there's anything, the most intellectually stubborn people on earth are the boomers, the free types, all that. It's terrible. And then you got you said the atheist National Socialist, right?
Yeah.
And atheism is ridiculous in my opinion. Like whether you're a Christian or like a pagan like myself, you have to have some kind of spiritual influence in your life, or else you just lead a life of nihilism, hedonism, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Well, when I do it, let me know what you think of it, okay? Because it may not be what you're thinking that it is. I appreciate it, Mike. Good to hear from you, man. Take care. That was interesting. See, there was another guy. I think he said pagan like me. Pagans. Kid Combo 187 says, "You the man, Hake." And White Power Side. I'm kidding about the white power sign. Okay sign. Let me get to my favorite caller, Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. Maze, what's up?
Hello, James.
Hello.
Are you celebrating, what kind of Friday is it supposed to be? Good Friday?
Good Friday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I heard him say that Christianity.
Who's him?
Christianity in America. Christianity did not start in America. Where did it start?
It started with Jesus. It started.
No.
Yeah.
Where did it originate? Because I used to hear Billy
wherever
Graham say,
Jesus was. Bethlehem?
Where is that?
Israel or
it's
something.
A place, it's in your Bible. It's called Antioch.
No.
And there's a place called Heaven and Hell. In that same place.
Yeah.
And the Garden of Eden did not start here in America. All your stuff you look in your Bible.
What's your point?
With the Garden of Eden.
Nobody said that it started in America.
That Christianity did
Except
not
for maybe
start
the
here.
Mormons.
So what was going on before Christianity came to America?
America wasn't America before
Excuse me?
America wasn't America before Christianity came to America.
We wasn't. So
Christianity came to America before America existed.
Christianity came from wherever the Garden of Eden
from Europe.
Antioch is.
It came from Europe.
No,
it came from England. Christianity came from England to America.
Name the place.
England.
It came from Turkey, and it's still sitting there.
Turkey?
You can go take pictures of it. It's in Turkey. You can go take pictures of it, and you can see it. It's the gates of heaven and hell, because y'all are living in hell, but you call yourself Christian.
This is that knowledge. This is that knowledge stuff.
So as I say, before you take your book, the only thing that was left for people to abide by was his law, not the book that you have, and all of the things and stuff. You can only go to the Garden of Eden if you see it with your own eyes, or that's where you confuse those that ran from the classroom.
I heard that the Fertile Crescent is in Iran. Isn't it in Iran? Or am I wrong?
when we get to
Persia.
this stuff about more black people are dying from this whatever they have out here.
Yeah,
And that one
coronavirus.
doctor. Yes, I wish he'll lose his voice because he's getting on my nerves every time I see him.
Who's
You
that?
can't shake hands anymore. You want to know? You might not ever be able to
Is she
shake
talking
hands
about
anymore.
Fauci?
Yes, I'm so like, is he making any sense?
But he already
sit
lost
down.
his voice.
I
wish he
loses it,
lose his
can't even hear.
voice.
He needs to lose it because this stuff not making any sense. And then when you come to this, like, how many women has the virus? How many other people have the virus? But you
Men
wanna
get
just
it
put
worse.
on a-
That's true.
Excuse me. And then
It's
you got these
sexism.
people from
It's due to institutional sexism that men get the virus more than the women.
And then you got these people from these organizations coming out, stepping out because they want what? They're not doing it because whoever started it needs to be cut off at the knee. Everybody
Whoa.
can catch it.
Whoa, are you a Chinese dictator?
No, I'm not a Chinese dictator. It's like, I
Then how
don't
come you
believe
want to
it.
cut him off at the knee? Whoever started it.
Because it's a lie.
What if
That's
it was
why.
an accident?
Because they always say, no, I'm not talking about the disease. I'm talking about they say black people getting dying more from it than anybody else because of them being fat.
Oh, you want to
because of
cut off the AP people at the knees? The fake news
No.
AP?
All of the people that's out here saying it because more of your people are on
You
welfare
cut off
than
the.
anybody.
You want to cut off
So-
the NAACP guy at the knees?
Yes, you can cut them off too.
And how about the Columbia University black woman?
All of them. They're coming out with this rhetoric.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
it's
it's not
what's
racism,
said.
right?
All people, the germ doesn't have a color. Because you got them, you got.
I think it
Caucasian
might
down
have a
from, you got-
color.
No,
I
it
don't know
doesn't.
what color.
They're making it a color. So now you got
It's
these
green
crazy
or
people,
something.
the people that didn't go to classroom, they're gonna be looking at black people like, oh, I got to run. They got the disease. I got to run. They got it. Well, really, it's stupid.
No, don't
how
worry
you
about
bring
that.
your
Don't
own
worry about
stuff
that, Mace.
Upon people.
Pod people?
That's what I'm saying. It's just what they did.
All
so
right.
there should be a lawsuit for doing it that way.
Yeah.
That's causing distress for people
Okay.
that want to believe that.
Thank
So
you,
it's
Mace.
just sue them, whoever started it, sue the people that started it. And the man, I hope, he loses his voice and can't have it back until this whatever is out here over. And then we won't have to hear from him again. Because I don't believe nothing he got to say. The only doctor.
You don't have
only
to turn
doctor-
on the TV, Mace.
If what?
You don't have to turn on the TV.
You don't have to be on the
listen
TV.
to it.
You could be listening to the
Just
radio.
have it on
if you-
mute.
No, I do put it on mute. That's why I'm glad he lost his voice. I hope he loses. So who's going to speak now? He's the
Wow,
only doctor
so
on
malicious.
earth. If he can't speak, who do they have to listen to?
You need more
That's what you get
patience,
for
Mace.
following people. What?
You need more patience.
No, I have patience. Because if I didn't have patience, I wouldn't be talking to you. And I wouldn't talk to Jesse and the people that I talk to.
All right.
And I do it in a happy voice.
Okay.
So and then I'm
I
wondering,
didn't really
like,
get her point.
why
this time.
do people celebrate the killing of a person? Because you say he died for your sins. If he
Right.
died for your sins, stop sinning.
I know it's really good advice.
Nobody stops sinning. They are sinning, and then in the name of Jesus, they saying that they're Christians,
Stretching.
but then they sinning and doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
I
Now,
know.
what common sense would you be taking a monkey and a pig, putting them together to try to produce something? Unless you're evil
She's
and crazy.
commenting on my whole show. Maze, I gotta go. Nice talking with you.
Yeah, you have a good one, and y'all enjoy y'all Good Friday and
Nice.
do good things.
Thank you. Wow. Let me get to Rick out of Hampton, Virginia. Rick, what's up?
What's going on, Brother James? What's happening with you?
Nothing much. How about you?
Man, ain't a thing going on.
Right on.
Hey, you know this coronavirus? I think instead of trying to make President Trump lose the election, I wouldn't be surprised.
But you think that's gonna work? I think that Trump is gonna win.
You know what?
He's defending himself
I-
quite well.
And you know, here's a thing too, and they keep running polls. Biden is way ahead of President Trump. It's like
I haven't seen that.
I've been seeing that on. They like on the internet, of course. You know, you
Right.
can't believe Facebook. Biden up by 10 points.
Yeah.
Before, James?
Rick, your phone's all messed up.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. And as I said before, Biden is on the sacrificial lamb for the Democratic Party, but Trump can defeat him in November. That's all he is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, so
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
that's what I say.
I think it's because they hate him so much that they don't have good tactics. Because when you're for example, right? I hear about this, right?
Mhm.
A fighter gets in the person's head, his opponent's head, and the opponent just does all kinds of mistakes. And that's what Trump has done to these people. And that's how they ended up with Joe Biden.
Wow.
And
You know
to be
what?
honest, all of the Democrats are a joke. There's not one who could beat Trump. Do you know anybody?
But
Even Tulsi
I
Gabbard,
don't know,
she couldn't beat Trump. And as much
man.
as some
I
people
don't see
respect her,
nobody that can beat her.
yeah,
You know, she was probably, was it Gabby? What was the lady name? James, you just said her name.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. Now, it's like she wants to be a conservative, but you know how it is. Most Democrats got their people. Just like y'all was talking earlier how if you work hard, have a good attitude, ain't nothing
Yeah,
you can't have. But the Democrats are gonna make it seem like, oh man, the inner schools are in trouble. You don't have a fair shake. Actually, liberals put that into a lot of these blacks' heads.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and
That's why
always
you have
go ahead.
black Christians who believe in socialism,
And socialism, you hear,
and
you
it
know,
is
you have a lot
anti-God, as Bill Lockwood says. He says
know
that
what?
socialism is
It is, 'cause
anti-God, and I think he's
some
right.
people talk about, socialism. Do you know what you're asking for? I said, if you like socialism, look at Mexico, the Caribbean, all the way down to South America. That's
Yeah.
socialism.
Right.
If you like it that much, and a lot of them, with
But
it's
man,
like, to me,
there's a lot
Right.
of whites who say that that's POC socialism. That's people of color socialism.
PLC. What is that?
People of color socialism. The
God.
white socialism wouldn't be as bad like that. I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure. Because
I think
high
socialism
IQ doesn't
is-
protect
Go
you.
ahead, James.
High IQ doesn't protect you from being immoral.
And you know what? I noticed too what liberals try to do, what you just said,
Which is
they try to
obvious,
use
right?
big words to confuse you instead of keeping it simple.
Yeah.
And what do you think about too, James? Like, when it comes to socialism, what would be a short definition for socialism?
Redistributing the wealth.
Yep. Or either using
I
other
don't
people's
know.
money till they run out.
Maybe there's some of you are smarter than me or wiser than me, but that's one aspect of it. Yeah.
That's basically what it is using other people's money, just like if you have two people that can't afford- Go ahead, James.
stealing money and pretending that the government knows better when it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
Or
wow.
pretending that the
pretty much
academics
it.
know better.
oh,
Duh.
yeah. As liberals push college so hard. They
Yep.
push college hard, man.
Yeah. Meanwhile, people who live in reality are much wiser. Even
Mm-hmm.
the uneducated are more reachable with the truth, seemingly.
Yep.
So often, they're less prideful. In some cases they are very prideful themselves. Anyway, Rick, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Nice talking with you, man. Take care.
Well, hey, love y'all. Have a good Easter weekend. Y'all be safe.
Thank you, man. Happy Easter to you too. Let me get to Christine out of New Jersey. Been waiting a while. Christine, nice to hear from you.
Oh, James.
Hey.
James, I want you to define what you mean by black people and white people. And do you think there is brown people?
There's brown. Those are the Hispanics.
The browns are the Hispanics.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Sometimes
And what-
they claim that America went over to Iraq and Afghanistan to kill brown people, but those aren't brown people. Those are Arabs or something. but
Okay.
yeah, when I'm talking about whites, I'm talking about people who are white and generally more Christian. And sometimes I'm wishy-washy on whether to allow the Italians and like the Catholic whites, like the Irish. But, it's all fun and games for me for that. And then the blacks are the people who identify with the black stuff or just are black.
I know. I almost didn't want to ask the question because Maisie was on the phone, and she acts crazy.
Yeah.
Ah, what a malrepresentation. Swear.
Yeah,
What?
she's sometimes hard to follow.
Well, she always seems like she's on speed, so it's like weird.
Yeah.
know when she talks like that. But I was just curious.
Yeah.
I like the trunk video. Please keep playing that. That's awesome.
That black lady who was smoking pot and couldn't deal with her kids, and
yeah, she had to go sit in the car.
and that was crazy. She was like, "I need to get right," meaning get high, I think.
I can't stop laughing. Oh, no.
What a shame. And, I saw another video. I was watching Asmodor's stream, and he showed another woman who was going off talking about these GD kids, god dang kids, that she's just having to deal with the kids, having to stay home and being forced to deal with the kids. It's a real test of patience. And at least 2 of these black women on these viral videos are failing the test.
Oh,
and
man.
most people don't actually have patience, too, to be honest. Even though you have a lot of patience, but people say you have a lot of patience, but no, I think people just either have patience or they don't. So, yeah.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I just wanted to know why you always are a little divisive with the black and the white word.
It's not that I'm trying to divide. I'm just trying to distinguish. I'm so interested when somebody is a perpetrator of a crime or does something. I'm like, who did that? Let me just see the person. I just want to see what kind of person, not only their race, but yes, their race too. I want to see whether it's a woman or a man. And I just want to see what kind of impression I get from them. When I showed you guys the CNN fact checker lineup, I'm like, look at these people. And you could say that it's mean, but there's a non-mean, perfectly reasonable reason to look at them, because you look at them, dig up that picture of those CNN people from yesterday's folder. You look at them, and then you look at Trump, and who are you going to take seriously? Trump, if you're a down-to-earth type of person. Because these people are just...
I'm not judging you. I just was curious.
Yeah, that's why. I just get into it. Because, I don't know, it's just a interesting phenomenon. There's something called physiognomy, which is, I don't know who started it, but you can profile a person based on how they look. And
I'm sorry, what was that word?
They call it physiognomy. And so maybe it's physiography. I think it's and you can kind of profile a person based on how they look, what they're into. And sometimes you may be wrong. And sometimes you can't predict what type of person they are. But it's just kind of interesting to me. I also like accents too. When somebody talks with an accent,
properly,
I like to hear them. So, anyways, that's why. Nice to hear from you, Christine. It's Good Friday. Happy Easter.
Yeah. I gotta go search for some eggs.
Right on. Good to hear from you, Christine. Take care.
Bye, Hake.
All right. Let me get to Kyle out of Denver, Colorado. Kyle, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fine.
So, I just had to call in on, I've called in before. I'm also a social pariah. Okay?
Oh, nice. Social pariah.
I had an illustration of what
treasure chest
Jesse was talking about earlier about with Trump saying, that Trump's statement.
Yeah.
About you don't have to be the smartest in class or, to succeed. You just have to have the drive and find your niche.
Right.
Well, I saw these as a job opportunity for people that want to start their own business. You don't have to. I saw these 2 guys. They were black guys that they had started, and there's a big need for it right now. As appliance installers. Yeah. Especially for like new homes and stuff, but. They just, you got a step truck and they went to work.
Exactly.
Usually they have like companies that have the software. They schedule. You just have to use the computer and schedule the jobs. And stuff. You're like a third party.
Okay, that's cool.
So I was thinking, the that would be a great opportunity if somebody's listening out there that, wanted to start, you'd probably have to, do some research, but anything you do is going to require hard work.
Yeah, very true, man. You're right, Kyle. Nice to hear from you, man. Thank you for the heads up about that.
Yeah. I just, I know you're about out of time, so I'll let you go.
All right. Happy Easter to you. Sorry, guys. This is the end of the show, but let me just show some pictures of the runner diagrams. Speaking of, you don't have to be smart to succeed or not die. They're talking about running. They have this video about running and spreading the disease. If somebody's running behind you, they can catch the disease from you. But if you're running side by side, you're okay. Or if you run directly behind, you're not okay. Duh. But if you run staggered, you're okay. Just kind of a little funny thing. Max Lank says, Hake, do you like Tim Pool? Yeah, he's okay. He's a nice guy. I don't listen to him a lot. And Dialectical Bear says, 4 more hours, Hake. Nice. Pyrus777 gave a diamond. Happy Good Friday. Polly J with a diamond. Thank you, man. And thank you to Polly J, Beard the Butcher, Pyrus777, and Kid Combo 187, Dark Side of the Bear What, Hot Computer Smell, Shaggy Boy, Garan Bear, Nothing's Free, and Tex-Mex. Thank you, guys. See you on Sunday on my show, and then Sunday again on Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, online only. And, of course, The Fallen State coming out in a couple of hours here. Take care, guys.